Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stassi. Thank you so much for being here today. I am very, very excited. I have Michaela here today, so thank you so much for coming.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, no, you're welcome. Your builds are phenomenal. And I'm so excited that you are here today. I'm obsessed with some of your builds, and I'm definitely obsessed with some of your save worlds. But anyways, before we start, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your Sims history?
So I actually started playing a lot later than a lot of the people in the community, I feel like, because I started with Sims 3, fairly a long time into Sims 3,
Mhm.
on my like a long old computer, sorry, on my old computer. Then I kind of stopped playing because I didn't really enjoy the building in Sims 3 because it was the build mode was not very easy to learn for me. So I kind of stopped playing for a while. Then I installed Sims 4 on my old Windows laptop. Played it for a little bit, but not much. And then I got back to it in quarantine in 2020. And that's where this whole adventure started.
I love that. I feel like a lot of people really got their Sims careers started throughout the pandemic because it was like the first time a lot of us were sent home. We didn't really know what to do. And it kind of allowed us to be creative. Now, you started with Sims 3 and you've never played the first Sims or the Sims 2, is that correct?
No.
Okay, so if Origins had a sale and they came up with, we're going to release the deluxe versions of Sims 1 and Sims 2, would you do it? Would you buy it?
Probably not. Um, I
Really?
just like nice graphics and I don't know. I do building, and
Mhm.
gameplay for me is something that I never really enjoyed because I get bored pretty quickly. And I feel like I couldn't really build in the like older games. So I love Sims 4. It's my love.
I
So I probably wouldn't.
hey, honest answer. I love that. It's interesting to go back because as I'm literally as I throw my hat onto Gerald over here, like I still have like these are like my Sims games as a kid, and I would want to go back because I think it's just more nostalgia at this
Yeah,
point. But I would be so scared for it to actually not be as good as I
as good as it
remember it
was.
being. It's
Yeah.
kind of like Twilight. Like I was a huge Twilight girl. Like I'm not gonna get up because you'll see that I'm wearing Batman shorts, but I have my Jacob doll for when I was a kid because I was obsessed with Jacob. I was always Team Jacob. Okay, what was super nostalgic for you? And if whatever it was, would you go back and play it today? And do you think it would be as nostalgic?
I played a lot of games when I was a kid. I have a brother who is 5 years younger than I am,
Okay.
and we played a lot of games together, especially racing games,
Okay.
things like Rally or Need for Speed. And I love those games, but unfortunately, because I have a MacBook, I can't really play a lot of those games on it.
Mhm.
So I would love to play some of the older Need for Speeds, like the Most Wanted and things like that, because I loved playing that back in the day.
Do you think if you were to play a Need for Speed game now, like back from way back in the day, would you play it and be like, oh my God, this is so cringe? Or would you be like, this is everything I wanted and more?
I don't know. Maybe I'd be excited. I don't play more anything more than Sims these days.
Mhm.
So it would be fun to kind of maybe add more games, or at least on my computer. We also have an Xbox, so we have some other games, but I don't have much time for that. I'm glad I can make my Sims with university. So playing on the Xbox is always usually like summer or Christmas when I have more time, but during the week I don't play much. But on my yeah, I play Sims. That's pretty much it.
Hey, I like it. I just started playing. I'm gonna butcher this name. I'll learn it eventually. Dream Light Valley, Dream Star Valley, the
Dreamlight
Disney
Valley.
Dreamlight Valley, the
Yeah.
basically Disney Animal Crossing, and I like it to an extent. I just like the like in The Sims that we tell the game what we want it to do. We
Yeah.
are the ones in charge. We're the one creating a build, a cast, a story. Where I find a lot of like games, like role playing games, you have to tell like it tells you what to do, and then I'll
Yeah.
forget. It's all like it's kind of like it's like the same repetitive thing where it's like okay, so I had to go mine gems yesterday. Well, I couldn't remember how to do that. It'd been like a couple weeks. I was like, I just start hitting rocks, and I was like, awesome, I got a gem. I'll just go bang more rocks and hope to get more gems, right? Or in The Sims, like if you're like, okay, I have this build and I want to get it out of my head, and like I think it's just
Yeah.
it's more creative versus it telling you
Yeah.
what to do. What the you know what's funny? I have never played a Need for Speed game.
I
Ever.
mean, I'm not surprised. I'm a very into like any other game outside of Sims that I played like in the past was racing games, and I also used to play like some sort of fashion game. I feel like, but that was like way like I was like 10 something, maybe even less. But like racing, I've been through with it for a very long time because it's something I really enjoy. So it's
Mhm.
Need for Speed, Rally. In quarantine, we got into F1 with my brother, so like F1 racing.
Oh,
We also have Forza Horizon, which is amazing. The graphics on Xbox is just incredible. So it's also very fun. But so for me, it was Sims and racing, not much else really.
I like that. I like that. You said you got into F1, so you like Formula One. You got
Yes,
into.
yes,
Do
Formula
you
One.
watch? Is it the Netflix? Is it Need for? Oh, it's not
No,
the
it's
Need.
Drive to
To
Survive.
survive, to survive. Thank you.
I haven't seen the last season because it came out on Friday actually.
Oh shit, really?
But I that was actually the way I got into it. Well, first, I just started when I was a little kid because my dad used to watch it when I was like 6, 7 years old,
Hmm.
and he loved it. But because he works long hours, we didn't really have much time together, so he stopped watching eventually because it was usually taking up a lot of the Sunday.
Yeah.
And we got back to it, my brother, in quarantine with Drive to Survive. So I was like bored, didn't know what to watch on Netflix. So I was like, okay, let's do this. I liked it once, maybe I'll enjoy it. And yeah, I've been obsessed ever since.
It's so good. So my dad's always been a Formula One guy for as long as Formula One and the Leafs. Very, those are the two things that he loves the most. And Sundays were race days, and he like that would be his thing. Like if he could sit and watch a race and no one talked to him, oh my god, like is like a pig rolling around his own shit. Like that was what my dad liked. And then I feel like the Drive to Survive, the F1 really ignited the next generation of people to really like it. And I think that was really smart on their part because when you think of racing, you kind of really think of NASCAR or all the other ones, but Formula One to me is intense. And you have to like your reaction time needs to be on the
Yeah.
point. Somebody said to me last week and not the week before that driving is not a sport. I was like, what are you
You'd be
talking?
surprised.
It's an extreme sport.
I
It is a
remember
very
I
deadly sport.
remember an interview and they asked them about a race in Singapore,
Mm-hmm.
which is very humid.
Yeah.
And I think they lose around 3 kilos during that race, during hour and a half
Mm-hmm.
race. So of their weight, and it's insane.
Yeah. And people are just like, oh, but they just drive really fast. I'm like, but that's that's more than
I
that.
would actually sit them in the car. I think their head would fall off because all the G's. It's insane
Yeah.
how like the you need to have like a very strong neck to be
Yes.
able to hold all the G's. It's insane. It's like a
Exactly.
fighter jet level G's, maybe
Mm-hmm.
even more.
I depending how fast you're going,
Yeah,
and the
exactly.
thing is
I
like,
think the limit for fighter jets is like 8 G's, 10 G's, and
yeah,
some of the impacts that the F1 drivers had, like some of the crashes, like 50 G's, which is insane
that's
thing
insane.
that the body can handle it.
That's yeah, exactly. Because you're looking at their outfits and they look like they're from fucking space because that's literally what they need to keep their
Yeah.
body alive while they're going at such fast speeds. And all it takes is 1 second and you're done.
Yeah.
It can all come crashing down to an end. But it's cool to see that the next generation is really getting in to Formula One. Anyways, back to Sims. So you start like so you really like graphics in The Sims 4, so then you must love G shades. Talk to me about G shades.
Um, because I'm a Mac, I can't use it. So,
I didn't even think of
yeah,
that.
no.
Oh
It
no.
bugs me so much. It was the only reason I actually got a new laptop like 4 months ago, and
Yeah.
I was like deciding very hard if I want to get a PC, but I hate Windows. I've had a Mac for 6 years now. I
Mm-hmm.
love it so much, and it's very hard for me to. It was very hard for me to give it up. So I was like, I'm not gonna give it up. Maybe in the future I'll get a computer when I live alone. I was like, I need a laptop now because I need it for school. I need it
Mm-hmm.
for other things. So yeah, I can't use Reshape. It bugs me so much.
Oh my
I
God.
actually use so for my editing, I use a filter over the footage, so it
Mhm.
makes it look like a reshade or G-shade, but it's
Okay.
not actually the way my game looks.
I would have never known that. That your content was not with a reshade or G shade. I had no idea you couldn't do it for Macs. Honestly, I was a Mac girl through and through. I had a Mac throughout high school into college because I originally went to school to be a graphic designer, and you kind of need it. I switched to PC back in 2020 because my Mac died and I didn't have money to replace it because I had $2,000 lying around throughout COVID. Well, you have bills to pay. So I bought a PC. I'm going to sit here and tell you the grass is greener on the other side. I never say grass is greener, but I will never go back to Mac after having PC to now to yeah, sorry, from having a Mac to a PC. I love my PC.
I think it depends like what you want to do on it.
Yeah.
Because when I was doing mostly like school stuff, it was fine.
Mhm.
Obviously for gaming, even though I got a very powerful laptop now, it still gets pretty sweaty with all the packs and everything. So I think that's kind of the goal for the future, to have both a MacBook so I
Mhm.
can use that because I really like the environment and how everything is connected, but have the PC for gaming and for
Yeah.
like for that,
Just like yeah,
because
just have a
they're cheaper than MacBooks.
significantly cheaper. I'd want a gaming laptop because I've sat in debate of do I want a gaming PC or do I want a gaming laptop? I love the freedom of being able to take my laptop anywhere I go,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I don't want to be stuck at my desk while I'm playing Sims. I burn my eyes out because I do my best work on my reclining couch watching Netflix.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what to do, and I like the ability of, like if I take a train, I can pick up where I left off, kind of idea, which kind of really leads me to talk about Project Renee. As we know, The Sims announced Project Renee. It would have been last October. They've given us another update about it, and several leaks have been between October and now to talk about what's to come. What are your thoughts about Project Renee?
um I don't keep up to date with like news a lot, but I mean, obviously seen the snippets in the live stream,
Mhm.
but I am not sure I like it. I hope it changes a little bit because it feels like one of those games that you get on your phone, like one of those
Mhm.
like makeover apps that you can get.
Mhm.
It doesn't feel like Sims to me at this point, I feel like. So I kind of hope they refine it a little bit more. I don't know, maybe I don't like change, so maybe that's also one of the things, because I'm used to Sims 4, so I'm kind of um not ready to move on, I guess.
Kayla, I 100% get you. I'm not ready to give up Sims 4. I spent a lot of money on Sims 4. Even if Project Renee came out tomorrow, I wouldn't go run and grab it. See, there's a theory. It's been presented to me that it's actually not Sims 5. It's a building game that's specifically meant for building. I think that would be better. So then just it being a new version of the game. I mean, it's now between Sims 3 and Sims 4, from Sims 4 to Sims 5 is the longest break in between games. I truly feel like Sims is having a lot more competition now with Paralife coming around the corner. Of it kind of being the same idea where Paralife is being really, really good with updates, like every month, being like, here's our August update. We added rubber ducks. We added shelves. But they like, but I feel like EA is shaking on their boots a little bit because they now have true competition where before they never really did. So they're trying to hammer it home, right? And if they fuck it up, which they could, they're gonna piss off the older generation of simmers who've been playing for 20 years. To then for them to be like, well, it's $100 base game and deal with it. Where I would like, if it was going to be a builder game, I would like it just to be a builder game. Because like there's
Yeah.
a lot of customizations that they're showing. You can change the size of the bed, you can change the wood texture, there's a color wheel, there's pillows, there's blankets, but they're not really showing the worlds. They're showing
Yeah.
the same images over and over and over and over again. We're smart enough to know that you're just repeating the same footage. What would you feel like if it was just a builder's game? Would you buy it then? Would you be more excited for it if it wasn't actually Sims 5?
Um, I don't know. It feels weird not to have the other aspects in the game if it's like Sims. Because obviously we have building, cast, you have like gameplay, and it's kind of all connected together because I usually try to build the houses for like Sims that
Mhm.
will live there. And I think it would be like hard to only have it as like a building, not simulator, but like a building game because I don't know. I feel like I would miss the aspect of like the life that could actually live in the home. Well, life, Sims life.
Sims Life, yeah. I think that makes a really good builder if you tell the story of the sim that lives in there. Like if you build say a lighthouse, it wouldn't make sense for a young 25-year-old fashion model to live there. That doesn't make sense. You would want an old sea captain or a sea maiden and kind of stuff like that. So you're able to tell the story because at the end of the day, it's a story-based game. We just tell our stories through that. But I agree. I don't know. I think it would be
It's,
missing something. If anything, I would hope it would be an app.
yeah.
And if you
I
showed,
think it's also because you build something and people can actually use it for their gameplay. And I think that's like the other thing that's very interesting about being a builder, that people can actually play in the house and create
Mhm,
stories with their Sims. So I think
mhm.
that would be something I would kind of miss to see
Yeah,
these like stories turned around, maybe built around houses.
yeah. Like, how do you feel when you know that someone uses your build in a story or a gameplay aspect? Do you get excited? You're like, ooh, because that's
Yeah.
what it's for, right? Like when you upload stuff to the gallery, it's not for you. It's kind of for everybody
Yeah.
at that point. Well, I hope The Sims 5 is a long, long, long ways away. And the only reason I like the cross platforming, which led me to talk about this topic, because they talked about that you could like play on your laptop and then your phone at the same time. I don't think they've really thought that through all the way. Do you
Yeah.
feel the same way? Or are you like, no, Stas, they got
I
this?
really don't uh, think I understand how they want to do it because
Mhm.
obviously you now have everything on the PC. You can't even like play on two PCs the same game unless you kind of transfer files in between the two devices. So it's kind of hard to see how they're going to be able to fit all the things they will have, like the build, buy modes, in like all of the devices when all of them are different. Like different like power and things like that. So yeah, it feels hard to imagine.
I agree. I think it's hard to imagine. I think they bit off a little more that they can chew. And who's to say that like I have an iPhone 8? Okay. Can my iPhone 8 compete with my laptop, which is significantly newer? Do I have to go buy a new phone? So if I want to be on the bus or train or plane or car and be like, oh man, I gotta feed my sim. I think I just
Like a Tamagotchi.
my Tamagotchi got that. My Neopet. You see what I mean? Like it's just kind of it's not for me. I when I'm simming, this is when I'm in my PJs, having a glass of wine, just relaxing, not be like, oh my god, I'm on the train. Oh, my stop's in like 3 stops. Gotta stop because like I feel like they're gonna have problems with saving. So saving
Yeah.
something on your phone may not translate to a computer, and
Yeah.
then vice versa. So I think they have a long way to go to
Yeah,
figure
I
that
mean,
out.
they said it's still like a long way to go. It's like early production, and they said that Sims 4 also changed quite significantly from like the first
Mm-hmm.
snippets that we got. So I feel like it maybe turned out completely different because they kind of realized that some things are not gonna work.
I hope so. Fingers crossed, man. Have you seen what the Sims look like in Project Renee? They look
Uh,
petrifying. They
I
look
haven't
absolutely.
seen The Sims actually, I think.
Oh my God. Okay, I will send you. It leaked last year. It was like November or December of last year. They look scary as hell. Because I went on. I was like, I don't know if I can trust this because they're not sharing what the Sims look like, and that's like the most important part of the game is what the Sims look like. Not even of what the plumb bob is gonna look like. Like you couldn't even tease that, but you showed me again pillows though. I'm super stoked for pillows. But it's just, hmm, I don't know. I don't trust this. I don't trust this. And then we got to talk about leaks because we had the live stream, which was something. Did you watch the live stream, the last one?
I haven't because I forgot about it.
That's fine. You didn't miss anything. You missed nothing. They talked a lot
Yeah, I
about.
just scrolled through Twitter. I was like, okay, I don't need to watch it. I've seen it all.
Yeah, you got the tidbits of what was to be discussed. So they talked a lot about obviously Project Renee, free play, and mobile, and then they're like, on Thursday we're gonna release the trailer. We're growing together, and we're all like, why didn't you just do it now? Why didn't you just push it? And then it got leaked the next day from a good German company, released it, what the photos looked like and everything.
Classic leaks.
Classic leak. Got to call a plumber. You know, they wouldn't have been leaked if they released it the same day of the live stream.
Yeah.
Anyways, I won't scream at you. You're a very nice person. But anyways, so we get it. It's coming out like I think it's like March 16th or 17th or 18th. So I just pre-ordered it. I had Christmas. My boss gave me a gift card, like, you know, like a generic, like, here's $100, go nuts, spend it on whatever you want. And I was like, perfect. You're going to continue to feed into my Sims addiction and I'm going to pay for it. So I pre-ordered it and I'm actually excited for the new expansion pack. Are you excited for the new expansion pack?
I am excited for the new expansion pack. I really like some of the build items because that's obviously what I look for. I was even excited for gameplay for a little bit until I tried it and abandoned it again. But I was excited, especially with the infant update that we are getting somewhere in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was interesting to kind of have more of the interaction between different like generations because I felt like elders are a life stage that is very forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the addition of something like a retirement home or something like that is like a very interesting thing. And I can't wait to maybe try and build some because it sounds like a fun idea.
I could not agree more. I'm excited to see the builders build retirement homes, more community centers, having you nailed it on the head when it comes to interactions between different generations, especially elders, because elders, I feel like they didn't get their moment in the sun. Unless you have nifty knitting, they don't really do anything and they die pretty quickly. I think that's a missed opportunity. I would love to see like a sassy retirement home gameplay story play out where like, are they gonna fall in love? Who knows? And kind of stuff like that, where instead of it being like, oh, well, they died and like through prepare your I'm like they just turned to an elder. What I actually really do hope for is that they tweak what the elders look like instead of them making them really sad and saggy. That they give a little bit more life, a little bit more. I want some Jane Fonda seniors. Okay, I don't want to see like hunched like every like obviously elders are hunched over, but like I don't want to see saggy boobs. Okay, like I want to see some like perky because that's all it is. It's like they just like ugh.
Yeah,
and like hunch. No, they hunch over like redevelop elders. And I what I really hope for it, and I know I'll never get it, but as a life stage between adult and elder, I want like a mid-aged. So you're like 50. Why do you go from 45 to 110? Right? There's like you're missing that window, but yet we have another life stage at the beginning of the lifespan. Because you got debugged baby, infant, toddler, child, young adult. Sorry, I missed teen, young adult, elder, death. Okay. I think that's too many at the start. I would much rather see more closer to the end. I understand at that point you having a really long lifespan, but you already have it anyways. Like I wish they would just skip debugged baby and just go straight to infant.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Maybe either improve baby, like a baby that's actually playable, or skip the baby and go to infant straight away. I mean, you can still play on a short lifespan if you don't like longer like spans. So I feel like it's up to everyone.
Exactly. Or you can age up your sim. You can age up your sim at any time. Doesn't, they don't, you don't have to live out that full, they'll be like, oh, you're aging them up very early. Sure, whatever. Or you can just turn off aging completely. It depends on the gameplay aspect that you are looking for, but I really would like to see more shined upon from after 45 to 110. I'd like a 60.
Yeah.
You know, you're just about to
Like a
retire.
midlife crisis
Like a
life stage.
midlife crisis. Well, because they're adding that into the Grow Together. There's a whole midlife crisis thing.
Yeah,
It's a
but for an adult, which is like from 30 to 60.
right, but I want to like, is at the end of the adult, is that 60? Because they don't look like a 60-year-old. They look like they did when they were 30. I wish aging worked that way, because that's not the case. I don't know. I kind of feel like I wish, you know what I also wish? That when you got to a certain age, it's like your hair automatically started to go gray.
Oh, yeah, that would be
Like,
cool.
it's kind of just bringing that more realism into the game versus it just kind of being super cosmetic and on the surface. But I really do hope with this expansion pack that it will bring more storylines, more chaos, and kind of just more everything for really just to kind of improve every sort of gameplay aspect. You're going to have a lot of really cool build buy items for new homes. I can see builders now building giant legacy homes. You have casts that are going to be every lifestyle, because infants will have the ability to wear clothes. They're not debug baby. You're going to see a bunch of CC creators and cast creators going nuts on that little generation. And then you have the gameplay people that are just going to want to do legacy challenges of starting from debug baby to 110, right? So I'm really excited to see this, and I really hope it's the last expansion pack, to be honest with you. I'm really good on expansion packs. I don't really need any more worlds unless they're going to give us worlds that are only 64 by 64 lots. Then I will take every single plot of that. How about you? Do you want another expansion pack after this one? Are you good?
I don't know. I heard that the world that it comes with the new pack is quite small. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what world is 12 lots. Um Not even the base game worlds are this small. I think some of the
It's like Tartusa.
smaller worlds.
I think
Yeah,
Tartusa.
I feel like that's like, I mean, I understand they probably can't do the worlds huge because we have so many packs. It would kill the people's computers.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like 12 loss is too little.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I mean, the last couple of expansion packs, like High School Years or Cottage Living, were really exciting. So if we get something that brings value to like everyone, like gameplay, cast, and like builders, I think it's good. But I feel like lately we've been kind of, or they've been neglecting gameplay players.
Oh
There's
yeah.
been a lot of kits for builders, a lot of kits for cast players, but we only have one gameplay kit, which is not really a gameplay kit if you think about it.
Are you talking about
Um,
adjusting a vacuum? Because
oh yeah,
that
oh
is
yeah,
horrendous. That is
yeah.
a
So
I just want it as a completionist, not to play with it.
So yeah, I feel like it's nice that we got the expansion pack that has quite a lot to offer when it comes to gameplay. You have some of the new like adjustable relationships, how people can, feel towards each other. You have the new life stage, some more improved things for the elders. So I feel like it's nice that they're finally acknowledging that they have gameplay players as well. Um, so I think if we get something interesting like this, why not?
Yeah, I
But I
got you.
definitely want a world that doesn't look like the US. That is what I want because we have too many worlds that look like US,
Mhm.
like the parts of US. Yes, I'd like that,
Uh,
something different.
I'm tired of every world being somewhere in the States. I would love to see an Australian world, an Africa
Oh yeah,
world,
that would be cool.
um, like a different world from, because like I know we have the Japanese world, which is like the snowy
Yeah.
escape, but doing different things and having like, I'd love to see a Brazil world. Like, take all of these kits that you're putting out with the fashion and make them worlds. I would love to see a Canada world. I'd love to see that. I think it would be cool. I think the thing is though, I would want somebody from that country to be in the room when the decisions are made, because I don't want it to be a stereotype.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like if you're gonna do it right. Like I just don't want like an Australian world and then you have koala bears all around and stuff like that. Like I would want it to be realistic. I would want it to be represented. I'd like to see the Australian cultures getting respected, or African cultures being respected, or Asian cultures being respected, or South American, like, or the UK. Because like I was like, yo, like you guys are finally getting the world, and Sims Build Boy and Rory were like, yeah, 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 because like all UK worlds look like countrysides. Like that's
Yeah.
not the case, right? If you could build one world, anything, what world would it be and why?
That's a very tough question. Um, well, we have the like Italian French world, which is Tortosa, so
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of like nice. I'd like European world, but also, I mean, it's because I'm from here, so it'd be nice to see maybe like the Eastern Europe represented as
Mm-hmm.
well. But I think anything that's not US is cool because like Australia, Africa, South America, Central America. I mean, yes, we have Salvadorada, but it's a vacation world, so we
Yeah.
can't really build in that. So yeah, I think I'd like something, maybe a Scandinavian world, like really nice. Scandinavian world would be cool as well. I think I'm good unless it's not the US.
I got you. But if I had to choose, I would say New Zealand, and I would say Greek Macedonia. That area. Oh my God. Because there was a CC kit that came out.
Yeah, that's the yeah, it's like last year,
Yeah,
somewhere
that was
in
gor
fall.
that was
Yeah.
gorgeous. Or like even like a Venice.
Yeah,
Or just
I
like,
think especially like in Europe, you get worlds with a lot of personality. Well, it could be like Africa, Australia as well, but you get a lot of history in those
yeah.
bags, a lot of like specific buildings that you can have in there. It's like with Tortosa and the French thing, they kind of did it. Not everything, of course, but they kind of did the vibe that like the French Riviera and Italy has. So I think a Greek world would be cool, or maybe even like Turkey,
Yeah.
to kind of build that kind of world. But pretty much anything, if you think about like having Africa, you could build like those cute homes that they have, you know, those like
Hmm.
I don't know, made out of whatever they find. I know it's probably not cute, but you probably know what I mean.
I know
So
what you mean.
it's like different cultures look like different things. It's like with Mount Komorebi, we have a very
Hmm.
cool kind of style of homes that's like Japanese.
Yep.
So it could be nice to see like different architectural styles in the world,
I agree.
other than the classic suburban American.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah, 100%. I'll be like, because this world's based on San Francisco.
yeah.
Awesome. That's such a missed opportunity. Because again,
You have Lisbon. It looks very similar to San Francisco. So why not do it like Portuguese world? And you
yeah,
could have something different.
or because like a lot of cultures do have multiple generations in one home. That's
Yeah.
extremely common. In the West, that's not common. It's becoming more common because buying a home is too expensive. So you'll have multiple generations. But I just kind of I agree with you. I'm tired of North American worlds, and I'm from North America. I want to see other things.
Yeah.
Well, fingers crossed. We know we're getting another world at some point. I think it's going to come with a game pack, because I said that last year's live stream that we'd get two new worlds, and the one is coming with Get Together, and then we don't know the next one, but a lot of the game packs now are coming out with worlds, so that's always good. But do you play? I'm switching topics. So do you play with CC or no CC?
I did a build with CC last, like in late December,
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't play on my old laptop because it wouldn't handle CC. But now I can with a new one. But I get pretty overwhelmed with the amount of like stuff that I suddenly have in the game. So I feel more comfortable building with only the items from packs. I have all of them. Well, all of the ones that are build related. So I don't have quite a bit of the kits because they're
Mm-hmm.
CAS and I don't really need them. But I have a lot of the packs, like all of the packs. So I think that's enough for me because anything more is like too overwhelming.
Girl, I got you. I have all of the expansions. I now have all the game packs. I have most of the stuff packs besides my first pet, toddler, kid, and gym. And I have a good chunk of the kits. I got very spoiled at Christmas with a bunch of gift cards. I was like, I'm gonna buy like 8 kits because I used to complain on here all the time that like I was a builder, but no one takes me seriously anymore. And everyone's like, yo, let me hold my beer. How do you want to be part of my builders club? And I'm like, yeah. Now I'm part of 5. So I was like, well, I gotta get. Well, I can't use CC because I'm a huge CC in my builds. Like I love CC because EA cannot provide me with fucking pillows, blankets, and half open doors. Okay, that's the CC I gotta get. Realistic CC. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get everyday clutter and the bathroom clutter. So when I start building, I can do all this stuff. So I'm in the Better Together club. Are you in that club?
Oh
Yeah. It comes out this week.
Yes.
I'm very happy that they extended that because I'm an idiot. So I interviewed Simmer Kai. Like it was like months ago. I know the interview just came out, but like months ago. And she at the end of the call, she's like, "Well, do you want to join this club?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not?" And she's like, "Okay." So she's like, "Well, what world do you want to be in?" And I was like, "Oh, the cats and dog world." It's like one of my favorite worlds because I love the stuff. And she's like, "Okay, you can only use that kit though, or pack." And I was like, "Okay, that's fine." And then 3 months went by, and I totally forgot that that was a rule. So I built I built a classic crab shack. And I was like, "Oh my god, I'm done a month early. This is awesome. This is fantastic. This is great." So I think it's Sophie. She messages me and she's like, "Hey, like, is everything good?" I was like, "Yeah, it's like it's all good to go." And she's like, "That has every kit and pack. That's not." I was like, "Oh no!" So I had to go back and rebuild it, and I was like, "Oh no, oh no." But what world did you pick, and what build did you pick?
I did 2 actually.
Okay.
I did eco lifestyle. I got the Tinkers lot.
Oh,
So I
okay,
built a home for the Tinkers.
very
And
nice.
then I had Brightchester, and I did one of the modern housing, like on top of that tall building. One of
Hmm.
them, yeah. So that's what I did. It was very interesting to play only like with base game and the pack. I'm not a fan of base game builds. That's I like the clutter, and there is not much clutter in base game. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't do base game builds very often, but it was fun because I love Eco Lifestyle. It's one of my favorite packs. So it was
Mm-hmm.
a lot of fun playing with only that. And with Discovery University, it was also kind of interesting to see what the items came with the pack and how I can kind of pair it with base game.
Yeah, it's cool. I agree. I'm not a big base game person. I forget the base game exists. I know that sounds bad, but I totally do. And it was cool to see. Like it really tested you to the limits of what you
Yeah.
could put in because. So when I build businesses. I love to build businesses. It is my favorite thing to build, especially restaurants. I love building restaurants and businesses. So it's missing a lot of stuff because I guess because it had to be realistic. I was like, well, I can't make it. I was like, I built a restaurant, but it doesn't have any of the requirements for a restaurant because I can't. Because it doesn't have the cooking set. It doesn't have the dining um station. You have to have
Yeah.
to make it a restaurant. I'm like, but it has an oven and a fridge. It's annoying. But it was cool to, push yourself to the limit of trying to be creative. And I think that's what a lot of these collabs do. It kind of gets you out of your comfort zone. Now, I'm sure you've been a part of a lot of collabs. What was your favorite collab that you've ever a part of, and what did you build?
That's a good question. I hosted a couple of collabs myself back in quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere I don't even remember. I think this one is like a really cool by the extent because there are so many people, so many lots. All of the worlds are getting rebuilt, so
Mm-hmm.
it's very cool and like the extent. But I think we had I know it was one I hosted. It was I think 2020 in like fall, and
Okay.
we did like an autumnal one in I believe Benoton Bay. And that
Mhm.
was just so cute because all of the builds were so cozy and you would just want to, snuggle up by one of the fires. Yeah, I love that one. That was really, I like the theme of it, like the sweater weather collab, as it was very like cozy and cute.
That is cozy cute. I remember that collab. I was like, oh, that's so cute. I love that. Um, if you could host another collab with any theme, what would you pick?
I really liked the kind of topics of like holidays and
Mhm.
seasons. So because I did a winter one, a fall one, and then we had a Valentine's one. So I really like this kind of theme. So maybe like a summer collab in like Solani and Tortosa with like very nice like summer builds where you could just relax by the ocean or somewhere nice. That's I think would be nice.
Well, if you're looking for someone to build you an ice cream shop, I'm your girl. But no,
I'm gonna remember that. Maybe I'm gonna come back to hosting collabs.
yeah, I've it's stressful. I've hosted
It's a lot.
two, three clubs. I don't know. It's three. Yeah, three. I posted three clubs. I did one that was Sailor Moon themed. That was welcome to anybody. You could have been Cass. You could be whatever. You could be CC. You go nuts. And then I did another one that was Harry Potter themed, and I co-hosted that one with Sims Boy Brown. That was really cool. And then my third one I did was Canada themed. You just had to pick a Canadian anything and build it. And I did that for last Canada Day. And after the Canada Day one, I vowed to never host another collab because it is way too stressful. And these weren't even
Yeah.
save worlds. This was just you post at your own,
Yeah.
you go nuts. I couldn't even imagine hosting one with a save world. I still haven't figured out how to set a tray file. I've been doing this song
Oh,
and
it
dance
was
now for like almost
to,
3 years. I don't know how to set a tray file.
for me, it was even worse because I had my old laptop still, and I had to delete everything before I started building something. Otherwise, it would sound like a plane about to take off.
Yep.
So I could not put the save file together myself. So Pazarine actually did it for me.
Very
And
nice.
she was amazing about it. I was very thankful to her because she put the save files together for me. So yeah, I don't really know how to do save files either, but I did save files with my collapse. But yeah, it's a lot of work. You need to kind of keep track of everyone, make sure everyone is on time, nobody is lacking behind. I think what really helped. I really hate when they set only one day to post. Because I have my schedule. I like to keep my schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like when I'm told to post my build on Friday when I post on Sundays. So I think what really helped me and what a lot of people actually got inspired by, I feel like a lot of the builders that took part of in my collabs kind of learned from doing the whole week and you can choose where you post, which
Yeah.
is something that the Better Together collab also has.
Yes.
And I started that. So yes, it was. I think that helps a lot with kind of the more flexibility,
Mm-hmm.
but you still kind of have the deadline for it, so you can kind of say to people, "Okay, please finish until this date so I can put it together."
Yeah. Hey, that's 100% what happened with this one. They're like, we're gonna push it back, which was the less because I'm an idiot and I needed more time to build. And I think we post the teaser on the 5th or 6th. And
Yeah.
then afterwards we're good to go. Now I'm gonna ask you this. Is it a teaser of the stuff that they sent us, or is it a we take like a snap little bit of our build and being like, look what we did? Is it that type of tease?
I think you can do both actually. You can put like a post with like a teaser of your build, or you can do a story with like a teaser of your build, or you can just do the like artworks that they posted.
I will
Yeah.
be doing all three because that's awesome. Because I know I feel bad. I just got into G Shade. Oh my god, that has elevated my builds immensely. Like I'm just like everything looks like it's amazing. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh my god, I can actually build. Awesome. Again, I'm not trying to rub it in. Again, I
Oh no, I
promise you.
know. It's fine.
um, so anyways, so you played with CC, you don't play with CC anymore. What packs, expansion packs, game pack, and kits would you recommend for anybody who wants to start building?
I think that's a very hard question to answer because it very much depends on the style of building you have. Because I love kind of like mid-century modern, Scandinavian vibe, modern builds. So for me, from my perspective, it would be probably eco lifestyle for sure. I love
Okay.
that. I use that all the time. I would have to remember all of the expansion packs. What I think Discover University is also quite decent for like modern builds.
Yep.
When it comes to game packs, I use Stream Home Decorator everywhere.
Yeah.
It's insane, like everywhere. And stuff packs, Tiny Living, it's
Yeah.
great for that style of build. And kits, I love kits a lot because they add a lot of like the smaller pieces, like blooming rooms or the everyday clutter or the bathroom clutter or the industrial loft kit. I love that one. I love all the items. So for me, it's a lot of modern kind of themed pack. But other than that, I think cottage living is great for builders because it really has a lot of really cute items. Or also parenthood is also really nice because it has like a lot of family clutter and like family objects. So I think there are very few packs that I actually don't like and don't use. Maybe like vampires, I don't use very often because I don't build that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or Strangerville, I also don't use very often. Or like Get Together and Get to Work, I also don't use very often. But I think I use a lot of the packs that we got.
See, I like that. It's all perspective because all the ones you're saying
Yeah,
I don't use is the ones I use. And the
yeah.
ones you're saying I use all like you use all the time, I don't use them. But it comes down to what your individual style is. And
Yeah.
there's no universal one size fits all when it comes to building. Not even close. Now if you could call up Mr. EA Business Daddy right now and say, hey, I want this one item in the game that's missing, what would it be and why?
Ooh, that's a very tough one. Um, hmm. What am I missing when I'm building? I don't know. I think, oh yeah, I would want more hanging plants.
Okay. That's
Because
a
we got the one with blooming rooms, then we have one with paranormal, and
yeah.
then we have some of the debug ones that came with nifty knitting, I believe,
Mhm.
which I always forget about because they're in debug. But I think I would like more plants in general. Some
Okay.
like hanging plants, maybe some plants that could be placed on a table and actually have like a hanging piece. I know CC creators do that, but since I don't use it very often, I like to have something like that in the game.
Okay. I think that's really good. Oh good. Hey, as a Sims builder, can never have enough plants. Okay. You
No.
look at someone else's like a normal house, two plants. Your Sims builder, a million plants. I wish you know what I really wish that they would focus on is the ceilings.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yes.
fix the popcorn ceiling. You know, like I'd love to be able to do like to change it. So it's not just
There's actually a mod that does that.
there's a mod that does that.
I had it, but then I deleted it because the texture was pretty weird.
Mhm.
Well,
It
it
was
wasn't because of the mod. It was like a flooring on the ceiling, which looked kind of weird.
it was too alpha in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
because like
It
if
didn't
I
look real. It didn't look Max's match.
yeah
But I had that for a while. But I feel like I mean yes, our ceilings are white, but the color of the ceiling in the game is just weird.
and there's no texture. It's just it's
Yeah,
weird. It's a weird
yeah.
gray. I could yeah no definitely ceiling. I would love to see half open doors, half open windows. Again, taking that realism into the game a little bit more because there's the curtains in paranormal I want to say paranormal activity, but that's not the case. The paranormal pack, they move. Like they will move.
Do they?
They do.
Like those like little beads, they move.
They like though the curtains themselves will move.
I had no idea.
Which I didn't notice that until I downloaded a build that had them in there and I was like, oh cool. These and I because I'm a storyteller and I was taking photos and the thing was moving and I was like, the fuck is that? And I like scroll over and I see it, and I'm like, oh, okay, so these curtains are moving, but the window's not open, so this house is haunted. That's
I
the whole
think the
point.
only window that's open is one from Moschino, which is like half open, like the middle part
Yep.
in it.
Yep. No. I want to be able to like open a window. I think that's the gameplay, especially if it's like a nice spring day and you're getting that fresh air in, or when it's raining and you open it. This is the stuff I want. That's what I want. It's just the bringing the realism to the game. But what irks me is some CC that's in English. That's so weird. They don't speak
Yeah.
it. They speak Simlish. Now, unless you're doing a storytelling where English is they speak English, they don't speak Simlish, which a lot of storytellers do that, but not everybody. I just find it weird. It's like a Merry Christmas sign, and I'm just like, that means nothing to
Yeah.
them. That
Like
means
the
absolutely nothing.
quotes, gallery art maybe as well. You have like English quotes on them, and I
Mhm.
don't like gallery art in general because I feel like it doesn't really fit into the builds,
Yeah,
but especially like these pieces with like English quotes
yeah,
on them.
I agree. Unless it's you're going for a like you have a vision and this is
Yeah.
like what you're like you found a Pinterest and you're like this has a painting that says live, laugh, love. I got to get that in there. Like that's fine. But if it's just like a standard build, it's weird to see it if it just being like it there because they don't understand
Yeah.
what they're saying. Anyways, I got a couple more questions for you, and I'm gonna wrap up this interview. So talk to me about your building process from start to finish. Where do you get the idea from, and then when you press submit?
Okay, so I spend a lot of time on Pinterest, like a lot. Whenever I'm bored or if I'm bored at school, I go on Pinterest and just kind of look for inspiration. I usually only take like a very rough inspiration from whatever I choose because, you know, obviously the dimensions are different in the game and you kind of need to play with it. But I kind of like to have an idea of what I want to do. Even though the build that I have coming out today in like an hour is from a floor plan that I drew myself
Mm-hmm.
because I had a vision and I was like, okay, I'm gonna draw it and then I'm gonna build it. Even though I still changed it a little bit from the original drawing,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of still was the way I drew it. So that's where I start. Then I obviously go in game. I usually, before I start recording, I usually try to kind of build the shell first to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that I kind of know what I want to do. Because sometimes I decide that I want to add something in the middle of the kind of pre building. So I usually kind of create the like rough shell, then I bulldoze it and then I start over for the video that I'm doing. And then I build. I'm quite a fast builder. I think the longest I've ever spent on a house was like 4 hours, six tops. I don't even. Yeah, usually it takes like between an hour and 2 hours a build because I don't like huge mansions. I
Mm-hmm.
prefer like smaller builds. So for me, it's usually between 1 and 2 hours. And yeah, then I take screenshots and then I publish it and then I get ready for like everything for like videos and social media.
Very, very, very nice. I know you do YouTube, and we talked a little bit about voiceovers before, and cutting. Some people cut out the rambles where I decide to keep it in, and we talked about that takes brings it a level to the beginning. As someone I say all the time. When do you get really comfortable when you're in front of the camera? Because I feel like the first couple of voiceovers, everyone's like, like you don't know what to
Thing
say.
Yeah, for me, it was even worse as I'm obviously not a native speaker. So I was very nervous of making mistakes. And yeah, I've been learning English for 21 years, so pretty much my whole life. And actually, during quarantine, I started talking with British people, and it helped a lot
Mhm.
for my speaking. But I still make pauses because obviously it's not my first language. I'm not a native speaker, and
Mhm.
struggle for words. I even struggle for words in my first language, to be sure, to be fair. So I don't know. I feel like that's the realism of like who I am, how I speak.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what I want to do with my voiceover. I just talk about random things, and I leave all of my pauses, and like when I forget a word, I try to laugh it off and continue.
Well, I like that because it brings a level of realism and raw to it that I feel like we try to live in such polished world that
Yeah.
it's no longer realistic to be like, look at me, I'm amazing. Look at everything I do is awesome. But that's not true. Like we live in a world where we say and we forget words. If you told me we started this like an hour and a half ago, if you told me that English was not your first language, I would have been like, what? English is not your first language. And that's what I love that it gets missed over that people that do voiceovers in their second or third language and they're phenomenal at it. And how scary that must be to put yourself out there because again, it's not your native language. You're speaking English. Like I've had people on the interview I've had to rephrase questions for them because they don't understand the phrasing that I have done it. And I'll be like, that's no worries. Just tell me let me rephrase this for you. But with a voiceover, it's different because no one's on the other side asking you to rephrase that. It's just whatever phrase that you come up with. And I think again, a round of applause for any simmer that puts themselves out there that way because it is intimidating to put yourself out there like that
Yeah.
because not only
The first couple of voiceovers that I did were like really nerve-wracking. I was sweating, nervous. Yeah, I didn't even want to do voiceovers at first. I was like, okay, I'm gonna stick music to it, and that's gonna be fine. But I was like, I love voiceovers when I watch videos. I love to listen to like the building process and maybe some like personal information about the person. So I was like, I need to do it. So it was a process. I really needed to kind of talk myself into it. But I was like, it's going to be great practice. You're going to get better at it. It's going to help you because obviously during quarantine, because I was studying English at the time at university, and it was very hard to speak with someone. So for me, doing the voiceovers and also speaking with my British friends, it really helped me kind of stay on my toes when it comes to the English, while a lot of my classmates really struggled when they came back to school because they didn't talk English for like 2 years and they were lost. They forgot a lot of the words, they forgot a lot of the things that they learned years ago. So for me, it was a really good way to practice and to kind of keep my skills fresh.
I English is a very hard language. I'm not going to sit here. It's the only language I
Czech's
know.
worse.
Czech is worse.
It's
I
awful.
I can barely
Awful.
speak English, let alone I can
I
read.
would never like tell anyone to learn Czech. It's awful. It's useless because only 10 million people in the world speak it. But it's very hard, very hard.
Interesting. See, I find like if you know another language, learning English is not always as hard. The problem with English is there's too many words that mean the same thing.
Yes,
Like there,
that's
there, and
that's
there. Two,
yeah.
two, and two. That's really annoying if you think
Yes,
about it. Or there's different ways of spelling words from the
yeah.
UK, Canada, and US.
I
There's
think
very
and a lot of exceptions. You have a
yes.
rule and a ton of exceptions.
Yeah.
I would kill for that.
Well, because it's like it's I before E except after C, right? That's the
Yeah,
literally the first exception that they teach you. And
yeah.
I'm like,
Or
I
like some of
forget
the
that.
irregular verbs as well. Have like talked, and then you have taught, like teach.
Yeah,
So
I taught
yeah,
yeah.
that's. I mean, for me, English was a lot easier because I started when I was really young. I
Mhm.
started when I was 3 years old, so I've been learning my entire life. And nowadays, pretty much like 80% of everything I read, listen to, watch is English. So
Yes.
I speak less, or I have less contact with Czech than English these days.
Hmm.
But for example, I started learning German in like 8th grade. So when I was like 14, and I don't remember anything. I mean, I understand a little, but
Yeah,
speaking, non-existent.
I got you. It's us with French here. So they like we have to learn French because it's our second national language. If you live in Quebec, which is the province next to us, it's you only speak French. There is no English, which is very confusing, especially when you go there. and they can tell pretty quickly if you don't speak French because they will make fun of you
Well, it's
to
like
your face.
Switzerland. They
Yeah.
speak 4 languages actually in the country. It's Italian, German, French, and a language that I don't know how it's called in English. But it's like that's a very like small area in the country. But they speak 4 languages, like different languages in one country. And we were there like 2 years ago, 3 years ago with my family, and we came to this like really nice place. It was like in the like close to Italy, and that was like a 30-year-old lady, and she only spoke German and Italian, not English. So yeah, that was kind of fun. Trying to kind of communicate with her somehow. I tried to use my very limited German skills, but it was more like hands and gestures than speaking.
Huh. Well, I get I wouldn't know what to do if someone starts speaking German to me or differently. I'd be like, hold on, Google Translate. Hi. And I'd be like, whatever hi is in German. Oh my God, that's again, it's crazy. Like we gotta get the West to the other sides of the world to get everyone a little cultured because
Yeah.
again, we all think like we're the best. Anyways.
Yes, like different languages in different worlds. What because we spoke about Czechoslovakia. What's
Mhm.
also very cool is that Czech and Slovakian is very similar.
Mhm.
So we don't really need to learn the second language to understand it. So if
Yes.
Slovakians talk to us, we understand what they're saying, and vice versa. So that's also kind of a really nice thing. It's like the same with some of the other Slavic languages, like Croatian, for example.
Mhm.
Not Russian and Ukrainian. That's a bit worse. But like Slovenian or Croatian, if you speak slowly, you can kind of get the main point of what they're trying to say.
It's a lot of the same words, same kind of
Yes,
style.
yes.
Yeah, I got you. Got you. Well, anyways, Michaela, it has been an absolute pleasure getting to sit down and talk to you today. Why don't you tell everybody where we can find your builds?
So I do builds on a lot of social media actually, but my main one is a YouTube, which is under Michaelasims, or you can also find me on Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, and I think that's it. Or and Reddit if you like Reddit, because I post on Reddit a lot as well. But yeah, YouTube is my main one, and I also love Pinterest. I post a lot on there as well.
Very nice. Are you ever gonna dip your toes into Twitch?
I tried streaming because I had some time off in between semesters, but I'm not sure. Maybe in the future when I have more time, but right now with like my schedule and the fact that I don't really build in like evenings and nights because
Mhm.
I have some back issues and I just don't want to sit at my computer in the evenings. I have a very limited time, so right now probably not, but maybe in the future when I'm away from school.
I got you. I just learned a lot about Twitch, and it's not for the faint of heart. So no,
Yeah.
I always like to ask that because a lot of YouTubers they'll do Switch. Oh, that's how old I am. I said Switch, not Twitch. To Twitch as well. But anyways, Michaela, absolute pleasure. Please go check out Michaela. Before I leave, is there anything awesome that you're working on that you want to share? This is coming
Um,
out in June, so you have lots of time, like a
okay.
lot of time.
I had a big idea, but that kind of didn't happen. I wanted to build something Avengers themed, like a penthouse for Avengers, but I am not good with big builds, so that kind of got postponed. Maybe I'm gonna come back to it if I ever feel like it. But oh yeah, I'm actually starting. I want to kind of do more than just builds. So I thought that I might do gameplay. That won't happen because I just don't enjoy it. But I want to do more tutorials on like my building process and like how I edit stuff, things like that. And I also want to do more challenges. So I'm probably going to add like a second video a week from like late March.
Well, that is very exciting. Please, this will already come out, so please go check out those. I will definitely check out that because again, I'm a girl that likes a sweet tutorial. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not too proud to say I need tutorial help because sometimes that's what we need. Sometimes we're just like
Yeah, I get a lot of questions asking about like different things, like skylights, how do I make those?
Mhm.
A-frames, how do I make those? Or even things like, I don't know, how do I make the room bigger like that if you use the arrow? So I feel like even though we are so far into the game, there's still things to be learned and people that want to learn. So I feel like this is still relevant, and kind of I can show how I build, how I do stuff, and maybe share some like ideas of how people can maybe keep track of their builds, because I recently got into Notion and I track everything there. So I also kind of want to share my like Sims hub in a Notion, because
Mhm.
I think it's very cool.
No, that is really cool. And as well, we have so many new Simmers players coming because now the base
Yeah,
game's free, right? So we have people who've never played The Sims before coming in for the first time and being able to enjoy it. And The Sims can be very intimidating
yeah.
at first, especially if you've never.
Especially since we got a lot of like new things like platforms and the punch tool and a lot of the new build stuff that can be confusing and
Yeah.
can be like overwhelming if you're starting.
Mhm.
So I feel like it's still needed. And yes, we have some like individual tutorials for certain things, but I really want to do it like a series of videos from start to finish, like how
Yes.
I start and then through the process, and how I maybe like edit my screenshots, because I don't have reshade, so how that works. I feel like that's like an interesting thing to show
Yeah.
other than the builds themselves.
Exactly. Well, I'm very excited to see that coming out because I will definitely, as now as I'm a back to being a builder, top of a storyteller, when it comes to builds, I am so far out of the game. I have no idea how to do things. I'm just like, we got a light switch now. We'll figure that out. But no, hey, tutorials are awesome. Michaela, absolute pleasure. You are welcome back here anytime. I look forward to definitely speaking with you again, and I will enjoy watching the tutorials you put out because your builds are awesome, and we can all take a, we can all learn a little something. But anyways, Michaela, absolute pleasure. Have a great rest of your day. Okay.
You too.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.